Todd Scarborough back with Understanding Your Health. Dr. Roger Kendall joining us on the phone today. Dr. Kendall, one last thing here I wanted to get into as far as the ailments are concerned. Let's talk a little bit about homocysteine and how we used to think that the arteries clog because of cholesterol, and the cholesterol was the big culprit, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, these cholesterol-reducing drugs, which we know now is really not the culprit in heart disease. We're finding so many things that rank above high cholesterol, from triglycerides, and specifically homocysteine. We know that homocysteine is kind of a rogue amino acid that scars the veins or the arteries, and then in turn cholesterol and other things starts to patch that. How does DMG help with the plaque in the arteries and specifically blocking this homocysteine production?
Well, the key thing is that you want to keep the body in homeostasis, or proper balance. Homocysteine is in our bodies. It's part of metabolism. But when homocysteine builds up in our blood because you don't have adequate methylation, then you start getting, the body starts to adapt to this high homocysteine in a negative way, and it causes, as you pointed out, some circulatory problems and causing an increase in plaque development. And so dimethylglycine, as a methyl donor, is going to promote the conversion of homocysteine into a proper balance with methionine, which is the essential amino acid which the body then utilizes to produce methylation. And so it basically keeps what we call, it acts like a methionine pump. In other words, it converts the homocysteine into methionine, reducing the level of homocysteine and enhancing methionine metabolism, promoting transmethylation. And so in other words, it just pushes metabolism in the right direction, so you're getting adequate methylation in the body, and so consequently you have a factor that could very well reduce plaque development.
Interesting. So not only converting homocysteine into methionine, which is a benefit, but also that methionine in turn helps with methylation. So kind of a double whammy there as far as on the beneficial side.
Oh, absolutely. No, it again, when things get sluggish and you are not able, you get buildup of certain metabolites, which basically end up being a waste product, if you will. In that sense, it's almost not it can result in some very serious consequences. That's correct. But the other thing I want to just mention before we finish is that dimethylglycine, very important to enhance the immune system. People who use DMG actually find they get less colds, less flu. They basically have, particularly when athletes, when they get stressed out, they one thing happens is they get colds because their immune system drops. DMG keeps the immune system functioning at a higher level, so that when you do come in contact with a pathogen, your body's going to be able to defend against it much better with the dimethylglycine being present than not. This is what our research clearly shows. So that's big now, and with the flu and cold season coming on, people are concerned about taking flu shots. I say better to keep your immune system strong rather than just go out and get a flu shot, because it works much better to defend the body naturally.
And not just necessarily stimulating the immune system, but from what I understand as well, it's more of a regulator to some degree. So if the immune system is overactive and confused in these autoimmune diseases like lupus, multiple sclerosis, those things, it helps in that area as well. Absolutely. It basically helps the body to keep in proper balance or homeostasis. That's the beauty of DMG. And it seems like that's the case in almost all of these regulations, or the things that DMG is doing in the body. It seems to be kind of a regulator, kind of an orchestra leader to some degree, turning things on, bringing things up or down as needed by the body.
Yes, that's exactly a good way of looking at it. It does help to regulate the body to maintain high optimum performance and in terms of how the body functions, and that's a good way to look at it.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Kendall, thank you so much for joining us. Some fascinating information here. DMG, folks, go out, search it out. Food Science Makes It. Pick up Dr. Kendall's book, Building Wellness with DMG. It's a fascinating read and one of the most fascinating products I've run across in the health food industry in quite some time. So thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see you next week on Understanding Your Health.